So I went upstairs and saw this wall with hexagonal frames, each labeled with words like Njuki, Noki, Ari, Abeja, and Inzuki. Those are just different words for bee in various languages. It's a neat visual reminder of how many cultures have their own name for the same little flying insect. After that, I followed the path and came across a model of a drone bee. According to the display, the average size of a drone bee is about 22.7 millimeters. Drone bees are actually the males in a bee colony, and unlike worker bees, they don't collect nectar or pollen. Their main role is to mate with the queen bee to keep the colony going. Interestingly, drone bees don't have stingers, so they can't defend the hive like worker bees do. So this model shows the life cycle of honeybees. Honeybees go through complete metamorphosis, which means they develop in 4 stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. The queen bee lays the eggs in tiny cells, and after about 3 days, they hatch into larvae. Worker bees feed this larva until they are ready to spin a cocoon and turn into pupa. Inside the cocoon, they change completely, and finally, the adult bee chews its way out of the cell and begins its role in the hive. Okay, and this is the model of a queen bee whose average size is about 25 millimeters, making her the largest bee in the colony. She's basically the mother of the hive, laying up to 2,000 eggs a day during peak season. Just in the nearby section, there is an Ogiek family hut display. The display shows how an Ogiek elder would sit inside such a hut, often sharing stories or passing down knowledge to the younger generation. Then I came across this wall with a painting of a railway tunnel and photos of Indian workers. They were brought to Kenya in the late 1800s to help build the Uganda Railway, which played a huge role in shaping the country's history. Then I came across this map of Africa on the wall with 3 switches below it. The idea is that when you press a switch, it shows the migration routes of Kenya's main communities: the Kushites, Bantus, and Nilotes. For example, one switch is for the Kushites, another for the Bantu, and another for the Nilotes. When I tried it, the Kushite route lit up green, the Bantu showed red, and the Nilote path was blue. Though honestly, I think the lights weren't working perfectly. Maybe some bulbs had gone out. Still, it's a cool way to visualize how different groups settled across Kenya. This is a copy of the 1904 Maasai Agreement, where the British made a deal with the Maasai elders to move them from their ancestral lands to reserves. The blue marks you see are the elders' fingerprints. Just nearby, you'll spot these firearms used by British officials during the colonial period. I also came across this old vehicle registration plate that was used on government-owned cars during British rule. And check this out, an old Polaroid camera. Back in 1948, this was a total game changer. Imagine taking a picture and having it print out instantly. No waiting, no photo labs. It might be in the museum to show just how much photography has evolved over the years. And right next to the Polaroid camera, there is also an early type of phone, one of the old models used before modern phones came along. Here is a section dedicated to Field Marshal Dedan Kimathi. For anyone who doesn't know, Kimathi was one of the key leaders of the Mau Mau uprising in the 1950s, the movement that fought against British colonial rule in Kenya. He was captured in October 1956. He is remembered as a symbol of Kenya's struggle for freedom. Here in the museum, they've displayed his jacket, shorts, and pistol, the very items linked to his capture. It's honestly surreal seeing them up close because it makes the fight for independence feel so real. A fun but verified fact, Kimathi wasn't just a fighter. He was known for organizing the Mau Mau's military strategies deep in the forests and even set up his own structured ranks within the movement, which is why he was called Field Marshal. These ear stretches and plugs are displayed here as part of Kenya's traditional cultural practices. Communities like the Maasai and Turkana have used them for centuries, where stretched earlobes were often linked to beauty, identity, and status. I spotted these traditional wooden sandals, and next to them a pair of tire sandals. These were super common in Kenya back in the day. Just outside, near the bird section, there is this little courtyard where you can hear bird calls. It almost feels like you're out in nature. There is also an elephant sculpture right under the tree. Inside the bird section, there are so many species, from these tiny colorful birds that are smaller than the palm of your hand, like the sunbirds and waxbills, to the bigger, more unique ones that really caught my eye. It's amazing how much bird diversity Kenya has. In fact, Kenya is home to over 1,100 recorded bird species, making it one of the top birding destinations in the world. This is the great white pelican, and the first thing you'll notice is its huge beak. It can grow up to 45 centimeters long and has a stretchy pouch underneath that can hold up to 3 liters of water. This is the silvery cheeked hornbill. You'll know it by its huge beak and that extra bar on top called a casque. The casque isn't just for show, it helps make their calls louder so they can communicate over long distances. These birds love eating fruits, especially figs, and they help forests grow by spreading seeds. This one here is the wattled black hornbill. You can spot it by the skin flap under its throat, and if you see one with silvery cheeks and a huge bump on its beak, that's the silvery cheeked hornbill. Pretty easy to tell them apart. There are so many other amazing bird species here, but if I try to cover each one, we'll never leave this section. So let's wrap up the bird story here and keep moving. Lastly, this right here is Sudan, the last male northern white rhino in the entire world. He was born in 1972 in what is now South Sudan, and at just 3 years old was taken to a zoo in the Czech Republic. In 2009, Sudan was brought back to Kenya and lived at the Ol Pejeta Conservancy under 24-hour armed protection. Sadly, in 2018, he passed away from age-related complications, and with him, the world came heartbreakingly close to losing the northern white rhino forever. Sudan's real body was preserved through taxidermy, and experts in the Czech Republic spent years working on it before sending him back home to Kenya. Today, Sudan stands here in the Nairobi National Museum, not just as an exhibit, but as a symbol of what we've lost and a reminder of what we still need to protect.